If you're new here, we're Laura and Aaron, and a few years ago we converted our little wooden camper van on a really low budget, and we've been living and travelling in it ever since. We're currently exploring the mountains in North Spain because we wanted to escape the endless cold of autumn and winter in England, which is where we're from. So we followed the sun all the way down to the Mediterranean, and we're trying to squeeze out as much warmth out of the year as we possibly can. We're always trying to stay very far away from the chaos of civilization, and in this episode we're seeking out tranquil wild swimming spots and parking our little cabin on wheels out here on the wild side.
We always wake up way too late, and we used to get really annoyed at ourselves for this. It just started our days off completely wrong, but ever since we got our dog Lufie, our mornings begin with a nice little morning cuddle, and it just starts the day off a lot more positively. There's always a few van chores to do in the morning, like watering and misting our plants or doing the washing up from the night before. And before van life, when we were students, we actually used to be really messy people. Like, our stuff was just left on the side for ages and ages, but since we lived in a van, you just can't do that. Like, if you have stuff sitting on the side and you go for a drive, everything's going to fall over and break, so it forced us to be nice and tidy at least. We're just heading 20 minutes down the road to try and find some natural turquoise pools that someone told us about. Apparently there's these natural slides that go into the pools as well, and they're somewhere hidden in the valley, so we'll see if we can get to them. We've arrived at the next spot on our maps, and this place is actually somewhere that a friend of ours recommended to us.
Yeah, he grew up around here and he said this was one of his favourite places in the whole world, so we're pretty excited to see it. We thought we can't miss out on this.
Absolutely, and we've turned up and there seems to be no other cars around here, so we might even have the place to ourselves.
Yeah, which is kind of a surprise because he said it's usually super busy, so hopefully it's going to be nice and peaceful. We're just having a little bit of lunch before we head out. We made these juicy tofu sandwiches, and we actually found vegan alioli as well in the shops, which is such a treat. It's one of the things that we haven't been able to have for ages since we've been vegan. It's like a Spanish garlicky sauce and it's so tasty. It was about a 15-minute walk to get down to where the water pools actually are, and we just kind of kept going until we found the most turquoise greenest water to settle by. And we wanted to just check the temperature of the water as well before we got in, and to be honest with you, it was definitely on the edge of being too cold to go swimming, but there's something about the colour of the water. When it's so turquoise, it almost puts you under like a trance or a spell, and you just feel so lured in that it doesn't matter how cold it is because you have to get in anyway. you know how we absolutely love swimming? Well, little Lufie here hates it, but we want her to be able to come in the water with us when we're swimming. So we bought her this little boat and we're going to put a cushion inside, and hopefully she'll be able to come in the water with us this time and actually enjoy herself. Lufie looks like such a little princess in her boat, but we just wanted to do anything we could to try and help her associate water as a good thing. You know, she was really anxious at the start, but over time she did start to settle down and rest a little bit, which is quite encouraging because it makes us think that maybe one day she'll be able to come out swimming with us. We noticed these trickling water channels which were just covered in slime and moss, and we thought these must be the famous slides that we've heard so much about.
That's so much fun though. So we've had such a lovely time here, but the sun is setting and it's getting quite a lot chillier now, so we need to start heading back to the van, don't we?
Especially because the mozzies tend to come out at this time,
Yes.
and we don't want to get bitten to shreds.
We've had a lovely time hanging out by the coast the last few days, just swimming and enjoying the sunshine, but it's time for us to move further into the mountains, I think.
Yeah, that is always where we're happiest, and we've already, I think, 3 years of van life, we've been to the French Alps, the Swiss Alps, the Italian Alps, seen all these mountains, but we wanted to see what the Catalan and Spanish mountains have to offer. I think for us the dream one day is to like buy some land in the mountains and
we'd love to build a cabin or
yeah.
an eco home somewhere. Like Laura said, we love the Alps, but it's probably best that we explore a few other mountainous regions in Europe before settling on one area. So that's what we're going to do, and we can't wait to see what this place has to offer. We're on our way to some hot springs that are down at the bottom of a gorge, down a really windy road, and it is one of the worst roads we've ever driven. Honestly, it's so steep, there's no barriers, it's like a dirt track, so it's just bumpy as hell. And we really shouldn't have gone down this road. There was a big sign saying no motorhomes at the start of the road, but we were like, technically we're not a motorhome, we're more of a camper van. So we went down anyway, and we instantly regret it. If another car had been coming up from the opposite direction, we'd have been absolutely screwed. So we did get super lucky and won't be doing that again. Once we got down to the bottom safely, we made ourselves some lunch before trying to find those hot springs.
So we were expecting like steaming hot springs, and the water wasn't even lukewarm, never mind hot. It was just standard cold water, which was a little bit disappointing, to be honest, especially after such a difficult and long drive to get down the gorge to the water. Aaron was particularly annoyed, so he didn't get in, but I had a little swim about. While I was in the water, I saw fish and frogs and even a weasel, but none of those beings compared to Lufie. When I eventually got out of the water, she had the craziest spell of the zoomies. It's almost as if she hasn't seen me in years.
we found the most beautiful parking spot off the side of the road that we were driving on, and we're definitely going to call this place our home for the evening. This region of Catalunya is so beautiful. We're totally surprised by it.
Honestly, we just didn't expect this part of the world to be so stunning, and apparently also the land prices here are really cheap, and if you want to buy like an old ruin and convert it as well, it's very cheap, which is really nice. However, this is probably a deal breaker for us. Apparently in this region there are forest fires very regularly, and I think if we're building a house and we're taking years and years to build this amazing house that takes so much time and effort, and then
build our own garden as well, and have like abundant food, it would just be frightening to have that looming threat of a fire every year. Or you know, if a fire came and took that all out, that would just take years again to rebuild and regrow everything. So it's probably not the best region for us to be settling, which is why we're probably going to move a bit further up north
and see what it's like maybe further in the North Pyrenees as opposed to like this Catalan area of Spain. We're quite new to this whole YouTube thing, but it means so much reading all your lovely comments and your feedback on our videos. And just thank you so much for watching this all the way through to the end. We're hoping to see you in our next episode, where we'll continue parking our little home on wheels out here on the wild side.